David and I run Sacred Meditation and have long felt there's a mystery, an untold story that's held in the tiny part of northwest England known as the Lake District, famed for its rugged beauty, mountains, crags, lakes, rivers and waterfalls. Artists, outdoor enthusiasts and nature lovers are all drawn here, and over the years David and I have explored these fells extensively, but experienced them in different ways. David grew up here, and as an adult became a fell runner and mountain biker, while I knew them as a photographer, documenting the lives of hill farmers in the Central Lakes. But this story begins in the West Country, when a few years ago we were researching the mystical teachings of Christ Yeshua and his connection with the Sacred Isles, or Avalon as Britain was then known. 2,000 years ago, Druid priests were revered as mystics and seers. They looked inwards for answers, and stone circles became their points of reference. So we meditated at some of these ancient sites to see what would be revealed, and were guided to one called Menontoll in the far west of Cornwall. And while there, I was shown a ley, one of the Earth's energy currents, that travelled north to Castlerigg Stone Circle in the Lake District. So we mapped and followed its course through sacred sites in Cornwall, Wales and on into Cumbria, where two standing stones near Kirksanton mark its entry point. It then went on to Swinside Stone Circle, before going right through the heart of the Central Lakes, at which point we felt we needed more guidance. So we reached out to Gary Biltcliffe, a well-known dowser, an author of The Spine of Albion and The Power of Centre, who'd intimated that the Lake District is the Omphalos, the spiritual centre of the British Isles, with Grisdale Tarn as its centre point. And he encouraged us to use our psychic and dowsing skills to see what more we could discover. We knew that the Earth has its own energy field, with 7 main power or chakra points, 2 in the Americas, the solar plexus chakra in Australia, the throat chakra in the Middle East, the crown in Tibet, and the heart chakra is in England. The third eye chakra shifts with each age, but is now thought to be over Britain too. We also knew of a mystic, a spiritual guide from Argentina, Matthias de Stefano, who had visited many of Britain's ancient sites and recognised the importance of healing Britain's broken heart. So we decided to return to the hills to gain deeper insight into the spiritual significance of the Lake District to see how we could help. We now saw the Lake District as one huge stone circle, more than 400 million years old, that had been subject to very little interference or disturbance. On the eastern flanks of the Lake District is Gouter Crag. In the south, the imposing face of Dow Crag, set amongst the Coniston Hills. And in the west, at the head of Wasdale, is Napes Ridge, revered by climbers and walkers. And in the north, Sharp Edge on the mountain of Blencathra. And like a wheel radiating out from the centre of the Lake District are numerous lakes and tarns, fed by streams, becks and waterfalls, and rivers such as the Liza in Ennerdale, which means shining light. Just as rock and stone is a holder of information, water is conscious, a carrier of wisdom, of intelligence. So we concluded that the Lake District has its own energy field with specific chakra or power points that are all interconnected, from the Earth Star chakra to the crown. We decided to follow the flow of Kundalini energy, visiting each chakra in turn, whatever the weather or challenge, We camped in remote places to be close to nature and see the night sky, the sunset and the sunrise. We took minimal food, fruit, nuts and seeds, and meditated in each place, asking to be open to receive whatever we needed to. And at each chakra point we visited, we left 2 crystals, a clear quartz for clarity and truth, and a rose quartz for unconditional love. We began our journey at Gauta Crag, the Earth Star chakra. Not long after I closed my eyes, I saw the entire Lake District as a vast pyramid, with a pillar of light spiralling upward from its centre point, Grisdale Tarn, and downward into the earth. And David felt a powerful, tangible energy field that not only encompassed him, but the whole crag. Our next destination was Smallwater, the root chakra, protected by hills on 3 sides. Here we felt a strong sense of feminine energy, of love, but also power, as symbolized by the natural dolmen that overlooks the tarn. Then on to Skeggleswater, neither easy to find nor access, as it's in the middle of a marsh. David used his dowsing skills to establish this as the sacral chakra, which for me was about fear and trust, and spending time there, we were left in no doubt that this too was a huge portal, reflecting back to us what we needed to clear within ourselves. Then on to the Western Lakes and Upper Eskdale, the back of Scawfell and Scawfell Pike. As we walked, the landscape at times made me feel as though I was somewhere far away, like the foothills of the Himalayas, until we found ourselves on the edge of another huge marsh called the Great Moss that felt ethereal, otherworldly, with a beauty all of its own. This was the solar plexus chakra, associated with transformation. Then on to the heart chakra, Pillar Rock at the head of Ennerdale. This entailed another walk-in and finding a path that was overgrown and slippy. But as we climbed higher, we felt joyous, inspired by the magnificence of what felt like a primordial landscape. And Pillar Rock itself felt like a vast cathedral, emanating a vibration of love and compassion. And on the other side of Ennerdale, we could see High Stile, the high heart chakra. So the following day, we set off to climb it from the tranquility of Buttermere. And when we reached the top, we meditated, and David experienced a vortex of spiraling energy connecting the high heart chakra with the heart chakra. And as we looked across the valley, Pillar was just discernible through the haze. Grisdale Tarn is the centre point of the Lake District, like a jewel nestling between 3 mountains. This is the throat chakra, the portal of truth. But this time when we visited, it was shrouded in mist, reminding us that truth is elusive. But a little while later, the cloud parted, creating a magical, mysterious skyscape. Then on to Castle Rigstone Circle, more than 5,000 years old, earlier than Stonehenge. This was the third eye chakra, about inner sight and revelation, and sits just below the mountain of Blencathra. While there, David saw a column of light ascending from the middle of the circle. The portal opened to reveal another dimension occurring simultaneously, where everyone was happy, smiling and free. And as we left, a crow appeared on top of one of the stones, a symbol of freedom and impending change. Lastly, the crown chakra, Blencathra, associated with King Arthur and his knights, which legend says was his final resting place. We approached it by Hallsfell Ridge, which leads directly to the summit, an appropriately challenging route along an edge. And from the top, we could just make out Castle Rigstone Circle, reminding us of the connection between the crown and the third eye chakras. Here on the summit, we left our last 2 crystals in gratitude of the journey we had made. We felt changed, more awake, clearer, lighter, but above all, with an all-encompassing feeling of compassion for humanity and the world. But there was still another revelation that was to unfold. When we returned to Castle Rigstone Circle to watch the moon rise, we both had a strong sense that the Earth's third eye chakra is now centered over the Lake District to help the world and humanity heal. We also realized that our journey was not just for us, but for future generations who will recognize these portals as shrines and honor them in their own way, so light from higher dimensions can beam down into the world with far greater power and clarity.